We'll see the next part under the theory part under the contract costing. Okay, the features and the types and the difference between contract costing and job costing is over, right? Next we'll see procedure for contract costing, how to prepare the contract costing accounts. What are the procedures? We'll see to ascertain the total cost of the contract and the uh, profit on each contract. Contractor maintains a contract account. This account is debited with all the expenses and the credited with the all the incomes. The contractor maintains a separate account. This is a contract account which debits account in debited with the all the expenses and credit with the contract price, means income. The closing stock of credited with the contract price and the closing stock of materials and the plant and tools in and at the end, and balance transferred to the profit and loss account. In case contract is completed within one accounting period, if the contract is incomplete, the value of work in progress should be credited along with the closing stock of material and plants. Okay, so the account may show profit or loss. If there is a loss, may be transferred to profit and loss account. But in case of profit, only part should transfer to profit and loss account, and balance should be treated as reserve for unrealized profit. Okay, if there is a profit loss, the whole loss is transferred to the profit and loss account. If there is a profit, the part of the profit transferred to the profit and loss account, and another part should be treated as the reserve for. Next, we'll see treatment of cost in contract costing. Under the contract costing, how we will treat the cost, different types of the cost. For example, materials, labor, direct, indirect expenses, all this. Okay, what are the treatments for this cost? First one, see materials. The materials are obtained from the different sources for the contract, right? These are purchased or they supplied from the different sources, right? First one, see material purchased for a contract. If there is a material purchased from the outside for the contract, means then contract account debtor to cash or bank account or store suppliers account. If material issued from stores, means contract account debtor to stores control account. If the materials return to stores, it is a reverse. So stores control account debtor to contract account. Materials transferred to other contract. If the material transferred to other contract, means transferee and transferor, right? Transferee account debtor to transferor account. Next, if there is a sale of materials, if the sale means cash or bank account debtor to contract account, cost or bank account debtor to contract account. And abnormal loss of materials, if there is a abnormal loss of materials, okay, then what's the abnormal loss is nothing but materials damaged, destroyed or lost due to the theft, accident or earthquake, okay, etc transferred to profit and loss account. If loss is recovered from, if loss is recovered from insurance company or sale of scrap, it should be credited to contract account and net loss transferred to profit and loss account. See, if there is an abnormal loss is any loss due to the abnormal loss, then it should be transferred to the profit and loss account. If loss is recovered from the insurance company, if there is an insurance for those materials, if the loss is recovered, means or sale of scrap, if the lost say scrap is sold for some amount, means it should be credited to the contract account and the net loss, okay, net loss transferred to the profit and loss account. And if there is a normal loss, okay, if no need normal loss is nothing but there is a loss of the materials at the time of the handling the materials, or the loss of materials because of the chemical reactions, all these things, okay, no need of having any adjustment entry in respect of such wages. Normal loss is entirely neglected, so that is automatically borne by the contract. It's entirely neglected, okay, automatically it will be adjusted. Okay, next one, material supplied by the contractee. Okay, material supplied by the contractee without affecting the contract price. Value of such material should not be brought in books but a note will have to be kept to account for the quantity received and issued. Material supplied by the contractee without affecting the contract price. Value of such material should not be brought in books, but a note should be should give a note for these materials. Okay. Next, material in hand or material on site at the beginning and the end of the financial year should be entered on the debit. Okay, material in hand at the beginning, it's nothing but opening and closing stock of material, how to enter. Okay, if there is a opening stock mean debit side of material in hand brought down debit side, and material in hand at the end should be entered on the credit side of contract account as by material in hand carried down or material on site carried down. Okay. And next one is, first one is the material, all the adjustment relating to the materials are over. Next one, labor or wages. All labor employed at the contract site should be regarded as direct labor and charged directly to the contract account. All the labor employed in the contract for a particular contract should be treated as these all are the direct labor and should be entered in the contract account. It's nothing but debit side of labor is expenses, it should be entered the debit side of the contract account. Okay, next, direct expenses, same adjustment as the labor. Direct expenses incurred for a particular contract are directly debited to the contract account. Next, plant and machinery. There are two methods charging cost of the plant. There are two methods are there to charging the um, adjustment for the plant and machinery. First one, shorter period contract. Second one is the longer period contract. Shorter period contract, see, if the contract is completed within the accounting period, then it is a shorter period contract. Contract account is simply debited with the amount of depreciation. Okay, simply debited with the amount of depreciation. It's nothing but to depreciation. If the amount is a contract is completed within the accounting period means, then the just depreciation should be entered in the debit side of the contract account. Longer period contract, if the particular contract is not completed within the one financial year, then contract account is debited with the cost of the plant. Contract account should be debited with the cost of the whole cost of. When the contract is completed, then in that time we have to revalue the particular plant. Okay, we should see the value of the plant and it should be credited with the revalued amount, then the difference will be automatically will adjust. Then indirect expenses or overheads. Indirect expense is nothing but they not directly relating to a particular contract. It's maybe a general expense, they may relate it to two or more contracts. For example, a contractor appoint accountants to take care of all his accounts. That particular accountant is not relating to only one contract, it is a general. Okay, so these are the indirect expenses. Indirect expenses incurred in common for two or more contracts are the overheads which are allocated and apportioned to contract as an appropriate basis. On the particular basis, these indirect expenses should be distributed. Okay, next, subcontract cost. The cost of such work is charged to the contract account. Subcontract cost is nothing but sometimes the whole contract, the particular contractor is not in not in a position to do a particular works, but he doesn't have the skill of doing that particular work means is giving that particular work to another subcontractor, right? There is a subcontract cost. The cost of such contracts is charged to the contract account only. Then extra work, it's nothing but say the cost of extra work is debited to contract account and the extra price received for the extra work is added to the contract price. If there is an extra work, okay, at the time of the giving the contract that work is not fine, after sometimes the contractor feels that he needs some extra work for a particular contract or there is arising some extra work, in that case the cost of extra work is debited to the contract account and that particular extra work the contractee has to pay that particular amount to the contractor, that the particular amount should be added to the contract price. Then payment based on architect certificate. In case of small contract, full payment is usually makes on application completion of the contract, but in large contract, payment is made on installments. In this system, part payment of the contract price is paid from time to time based on the certificate issued by the architect of contractee. So, in small contracts, the contract price paid in a one installment, right? In one lump sum amount. But in the long contracts, or the contract is not completed within the accounting period, then the contract price paid in the installments, right? That particular contract price paid by the contractor to the contractor in installments as per certification received by the architect of the contractee. Next, work in progress. When the contract is not completed within the accounting year, the architect is required to value the work in progress. The work in progress includes value of work certified and cost of work uncertified. See, this is one of the important thing under the contract work in when the contract is not completed within the accounting period. If the contract is completed within the accounting period, means there is no any confusions. When the contract is not completed within the accounting period, then the architect is required to value the work in progress. Then the architect of the contract is required to value the work in progress, how much work is in progress. The work in progress includes the work certified and work not work uncertified. Okay, work certified and work uncertified. Value of work certified. What do you mean by value of work certified? It's nothing but it is the portion of the work completed which has been approved by the architect. The work certified is nothing but that particular work is the part of the work is the part of the work is completed. It's a completed work and that work is approved by the architect. It is approved by the architect, or the architect should give the certification for that certificate for that particular work. Then it is a work certified. If the architect give the certificate for completed work, okay, then it is a work certified. Okay, cost of work uncertified. Work uncertified is that portion of the work completed. In the uncertified means also that particular work is completed, but it's not approved by the, or the particular certificate is not given by the architect of the contractee. Uncertified means also the work is completed, the portion of the work is completed, but it's not approved by the, or certificate is not issued by the architect of the contractee. Okay. Next, retention money and cash ratio. Retention money and cash ratio. See, it is practiced not to pay the full amount of work certified. Now, work certified, a portion of the work certified means now on the basis of the work certification, the particular contractor is going to pay the money for the contractee on only for the certified work. In the certified work, the contractee is not going to pay the full of the work certified. See, it is a practice not to pay the full amount of work certified. The contractee may pay a fixed percentage on the contractee have to pay the, he has to pay the money to the contractor on the basis of the work certified. ಎಷ್ಟು ಸರ್ಟಿಫೈ ಆಗಿದೋ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಹಣವನ್ನು ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟರ್ಗೆ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು. ಸರ್ಟಿಫೈ ಆದದರಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಅವನು ಫುಲ್ ಅಮೌಂಟನ್ನು ಪೇ ಮಾಡಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಹೋಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓನ್ಲಿ ಆನ್ ದ ಬೇಸ್ ಆಫ್ ದ ಫಿಕ್ಸ್ಡ್ ಪರ್ಸೆಂಟೇಜ್. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ 80% ಆಫ್ ದ ವರ್ಕ್ ಸರ್ಟಿಫೈಡ್, 90% of the work certified is going to pay. Okay, that is known as the cash ratio. That is known as how much is going to pay, right? How much is going to pay, that is the cash ratio. Retention is nothing but how much amount is pending, right? Retention one is that portion of the work certified which is retained by the contractee. It's retained means it's pending, okay, by the contractee for security for any defective work. For the security for any defective work maybe discovered later within the guaranteed period. If the any defective work discovered within the guaranteed period, then he has to cut that payment, right? He can cut the payment. So that is the retention money. Okay, so formula C, retention money equal to work certified minus cash received, or cash received equal to value of the work certified minus retention money. Cash received equal to value of work certified into cash received has percentage of work certified. Okay, these are the main formulas. Next one, see, next adjustment, ascertainment of profit or loss on contract. Okay, this is also important thing. How to ascertain the profit or loss on the contract? See, on completion of contract, if the contract is completed, in case of contract is small and completed within one accounting period, the excess of credit over the debit, excess of debit over the credit or credit over the debit items of the contract transferred to the profit and loss account. Okay, if the contract is completed within the accounting period, then excess debit over the credit and credit over the debit should be transferred to profit and loss. Either it is profit or loss, only these things if the small contracts. On incomplete contracts, if the contract is not completed within the accounting period, it's transferred to the or it's continue to the next accounting period also, then what is the adjustment? See, in case contract takes more than 1 year to complete, a problem arises whether profit on such contract should be calculated on completion of the contract or at the end of the each financial year on the partly completed work. Okay, if the contract is not completed within the accounting period, means there is one doubt arise whether the profit is calculated or after the completion of the contract or at the end of the each financial year. Okay, each financial year. So in case of incomplete contract, the excess of credit over the debit items of the contract is not the true profit, it is the notional profit. If the contract is profit is computed after the at the end of the each financial year, if the contract calculated at the each of the financial year, means then it's not the true profit, it's the notional profit. You just keep in mind what do you mean by notional profit. In a contract, in contract costing, the profit, if the profit of the contract is completed for only the case of incomplete contracts, okay, if the contract is not completed within the accounting period, then profit is calculated at the end of the year, means that is not a true profit, it is a notional profit. Okay, next, the general rules for a profit and loss account. Okay, there are some rules for the profit and loss account, how to transfer for the profit. Okay, see, when work certified is less than the 1/4 of the contract price, when the work certified is less than the 1/4 of the contract price, in this case no profit is transferred to profit and loss account. The entire amount of notional profit is transferred to work in progress account. Okay, for example, now work certified means the work which is approved by the contract architect of the contract, that particular thing is less than the total contract 1/4 of the contract price, means then there is no profit is transferred to the profit and account, whole profit is transferred to the work in progress account. Okay, next one, when work certified is 1/4 or more but less than the 1/2, and the first one is the less than 1/4, 25%. If the now work certified is the either 1/4 or more than 1/4, but it should be less than the 1/2, 1/4 to 1/2, then in this case 1/3 of the notional profit should be transferred to the profit and loss account, and the balance is 2/3, right? That should be transferred to the profit and work in progress account. Okay, what is the formula? See, 1/3 into notional profit into cash receivable divided by value of work certified. Okay, then third one, see, when work certified is 1/2 or more than 1/2 but should be less than the 90% of the contract price. Okay, 1/2 or more than 1/2 but should be less than the contract 90% of the contract price. In this case 2/3 of the notional profit should be transferred to the profit and loss account, and the remaining something 1/3 should be transferred to the work in progress account. Okay, how to calculate the profit transferred to the profit and loss account? 2/3 into notional profit into cash received divided by value of work certified, or one more, 2/3 into notional profit into percentage of cash received. Next, fourth one, loss on incomplete contract. In case of notional loss, if there is any loss, okay, with the above adjustment for the profits. Now next we'll see the in case of notional loss in any of the year in which contract is processed, the entire amount of loss is transferred to the profit and loss account in respect of the progress of the work. If there is any working loss, notional loss, the whole loss is transferred to profit and loss account. Next, when contract is nearing to completion, okay, when the contract is nearing to completion, if the contract is nearing to completion, total estimated profit is calculated and portion of it transferred to the profit and loss account, and the balance notion profit is transferred to work in progress. Okay, if the contract is nearing to complete, okay, for example, the accounting year ends on March 31st, the particular contract is ending on April 10, only 10 days is remaining, right? In this case, estimated profit is calculated. Estimated profit means we can estimate the profit till the we should first we should calculate the proper profit till the 31st March. Okay, after that we can estimate within the 10 month, within the 10 days how much profit we may gain, right? We have to estimate the profit. Okay, next is now we'll see estimated total. How to estimate the profit? See, estimated total profit equal to contract price minus estimated total cost of the contract. Estimated total cost of the contract. Estimated total cost of the contract is nothing but cost of the contract to the date plus estimated further. Estimated total cost ಹೇಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಲ್ಕುಲೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೇವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಾಕ್ಟ್ ಪ್ರೈಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಟೋಟಲ್ ಕಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ಮೈನಸ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ದೆನ್ ವಿಲ್ ಗೆಟ್ ದ ಪ್ರಾಫಿಟ್, ರೈಟ್? How to total cost calculate? Total cost is nothing but cost to the date, cost till the 31st March and plus estimated further cost. We have to estimate ಎಷ್ಟಾಗಬಹುದು ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ 10 ಡೇಸಿಗೆ ಅಂತೇಳಿ we have to estimate. That is the total cost of the contract. Okay, next, the profit to be transferred to profit and loss account by using the following formula. Okay, after calculating the estimated profit, the profit should be transferred to the following formula. See, after estimated profit, a part should be transferred to profit and loss account and profit should transfer to work in progress account. Okay, how to transfer the profit and loss account? See, estimated total profit into value of work certified divided by contract price into percentage of cash received, or estimated total profit into value of work certified divided by contract price. Okay, estimated total profit into value of work certified divided by contract price. Or one more formula is there, estimated total profit into cost to date divided by estimated total cost. In this, the first formula is usually using formula. Okay, we'll see all these things in detail while solving the problems. This is about the theory part under the contract costing. From next class we'll start the practical problems. Okay, thank you.